little bit harsh. We'll call it the left side of the draw. Of course, 8 players advance from the left and 8 from the right. Ted's back.
Box office boys, always a pleasure to be here with you. Waiting for your insights into the game.
How was the 30-second break, pal?
It's all right, you know.
That's more break than some of the boys up here. The producer, James.
Yeah, they're working around the clock. How about Aloysius Yap with an 11-8 win? And what a way to close out Clenty Catchy. Catchy was applying some serious heat, but Yap prevailed, persevered, then prevailed. 11-8 to continue on, and Catchy is out.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, some people might think that's a bit of a shock, but it's not a massive shock to me. Yap, top young player.
Great player.
Did he win the World Juniors or did he lose in the final?
I don't believe he won the World Juniors, as far as I know.
Well, I think he lost in the final. And Simen Cheng still going in losers round 6, tied 3-3 against Wang Can, also from China. So she's putting a right fight up here in this year's event.
And the comments and reviews on the game of Simen Chen online, rave reviews, and deservedly so. She's got such a terrific game, fundamentally sound. And she is not just the #1 women's player in the world. She's one of the top players in the world, men or women.
That's right, Ted, and she's proving that. What about that for a result? Roman Heibler takes down Johan Chua, so he's having a strong run. The
Roman
European.
Turning back the years. He was playing back when you were playing. Now, how about back in the 2007 World 9 Ball in Manila? Chang Jun Lin. Now, this would be an upset if Marco Teutcher could come back and overtake Chang.
Chang was my tournament pick. Not that I knew he wasn't like a huge favourite, but I had to pick somebody, so I thought I'd pick Chang. But
that's a good call. He was one of those guys who's been knocking on the door, and he wins a lot of tournaments. He places high in a lot of tournaments. Chang has been a mainstay at the top of the pool world for many years.
Yeah, he had a big lead in this match and all. Certainly he was 5-1 up, so Marco digging deep. We've seen how great Marco can break on the TV table yesterday. He put a breaking masterclass on. He's trying to make a 1-9 combo here, so very attacking shot, forced into it. I think he's slightly swerving around the 8 ball as well, or jumping. It's one of the two. Let's see. Plays a jump, nearly makes it. Where's the 9 going? No, he's a chance for Chang to get on the hill. It's a big rack in that match. Judgment Day, Teddy.
Well, Carl, tell us, when you reached the final in 2015, how did you get there? Through what route? Winner side the whole way?
Well, it was double elimination to the finals then. So they weren't a left and a right. It was just brutal all the way through. So it was imperative you stayed on the right side of the draw. Do you see what I mean? Because we didn't play to the final 16. So it was a longer process.
Even longer process.
If you get in the losers bracket, it was brutal.
Over 10 matches, you'd probably have to play.
Yeah, that's right. But
so you were straight through on the winner's side.
Well, I got to the hot seat match.
Which is, explain that to people.
The hot seat match would be the final match. So as you've got winners qualification here with 16 guys left.
Whenever you're ready.
This was the very last match. So the loser of the match was basically had one more match to get to the final. That's how it worked. So there we see James Aranas with a bleach blonde haircut. From the Philippines, your neck of the woods, Ted. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, well, he's one of these part of the young crop of players, along with guys like Johan Chua, Jeffrey Ignacio, coming through and really performing well on the worldwide stage. In many respects, you could say James is the flavor of the month at the moment. He won a tournament, the Super Billiards Expo, a few weeks back in Philadelphia. He spends a fair amount of time in the United States traveling around, and anytime the Filipinos get over here and do that traveling, you always see their game improve. So I'm really looking forward to watching James Aranas. Thorsten Homan, of course, one of the greats of the game over the last 15 years. A three-time world champion, two-time world 9-ball champion, one of only 3 players to win the world 9-ball championship 2 times. So he has to play safe, but he has left that on. Let's see what Aranas has in his bag here.
Yeah, this is a good open long shot for Aranas, taking no time as he just floats that 2-ball in like it's over the pocket, Ted.
Kind of the way you shoot him, Carl.
Mango in the heart of the pocket, Ted. Don't be silly. So the 5-ball is going to cause a little bit of concern. It's not a complete hanger, this. There's distance between cue ball and the ball is hitting, and also there's distance between the 5 and the 8. Yeah, that needed a bit more care for me. That was no hanger. A hanger is what we refer to as a very, very easy shot, something that Ted would probably pot.
Gee, thanks. There's Matt Edwards. Had a good run here at the U.S. Open. Had a good run a few weeks ago at the Masters. He's really improved his game.
Yeah, and so did his girlfriend. She had Ralph Suke tied up 5-5 at one point. So the mistake combo from Aranas has given the hitman this first golden opportunity. And I think it's fair to say players have had table time now, and we're deep into day 3, so these quality matchups are coming thick and fast. Corey Jewell, the Prince of Pool, former US Open champion, he's bowed out in losers round 6 to Fortunski from Poland. He's a dangerous player.
Well, the Polish squad having some success here at the U.S. Open as Homan grabs the first rack off that missed 5-ball by James Aranas of the Philippines. And not surprising to see the Polish contingent doing well. They've got a great program in Poland. Pool is a very popular sport. It does get support from the government, and that's always a good thing, as you know, Carl, because you got 0 support from your government.
Absolute zero.
Like, it was 0.
Yeah, it was all out of my own pocket.
Look at that shot right there from Teutsch to tie it up with Chang Jun Lin, and he is pumped.
Ted, you sound pumped today. What have you been on?
Well, I mean, that's a reason to get pumped. To make a combo on the 9 like that.
Judgment Day gets Ted very excited. And there's Mike Deshane. He didn't play his best pool on the arena table. We've seen that once or twice. Looks like he's trying to give his number out. I'm not sure if he's going to succeed there.
He's working it, though. So Thorsten Homan, we'll keep you up to date on that Chang Jun Lin match. That's a very interesting development. And that would be a bit of an upset to see Chang go out, but they're tied at 9 over there. He's got the 1 and the 2 down. The 1 kicked in by the 3, but no clear shot on the 3.
Yeah, I would expect Thorsten to be one of these types of players who falls into that top bracket of fantastic breaker of the balls, to be honest. Pretty good safety shot there as well, so strong start for the Hitman.
Oh, shot.
Wow, that's a poor effort from James Aranis. Maybe having a little trouble settling down here on the TV table. Tyler Steyer still alive with an 11-8 win over Chris Alexander, who exits the tournament.
Yeah, not seen much of James play, and he likes to get on with it, so I expect this to be quite a quick match. Ximeng Cheng falls 2 behind in that match. She's trailing 5-3.
Well, the only other Filipino who's undefeated, well, the only Filipino that's undefeated right now is Jeffrey DeLuna, who will be coming up in a little while. They'll be playing Lu Hai Tao.
This is nice speed control from Thorsten. Coming round off a couple of rails to land right in behind this 8, shoot up top. That kind of shot's kind of unmissable on a 9-ball pool table, so 2-0.
Toasty, as we call him, he's got another one on the board. So 2 errors by Aranis and 2 points for Homan. That's the way it normally works in 9-ball. 1 error usually spells doom in the rack. So here we are tied. Chang Jin Lun and Marco Teucher. But Teucher's at the table.
Yeah, that's a tight match there. You can just sense the tension has just crept up a notch in the arena. We're approaching crucial matches now. It's make or break time. Who's going to make the final 16?
3 Americans are undefeated. Dennis Hatch will be taking on Shane Van Boening. Got to figure Van Boening a heavy favorite in that one. But Hatch, I think he's just enjoying himself out here, and that's always a dangerous opponent when a guy maybe is playing without a care in the world. Oh, and a good safety from Teucher, and Chang Junlin fouls.
Yeah, huge rack coming up that one. And here we go, the hitman's break. One ball disappears. And I think he can just get to the edge of the two. It's very tight. There's a couple of balls. Is there a gap? Does he have to kick top rail? Keep the cue ball there behind the 8 if he's kicking. No, he could see it. So this works well. Speed looks good as well. Nice shot there from Torsten.
Matusz Nagatsky at 9-5 over David Alcady, the Whirlpool Master Champion. And Homan's compatriot, the great Ralph Suke, 6-5 over Kurobayashi of Japan. You see a replay of the 4-ball, nicely done, all the way up table. So he's also deposited the 5 in the side. And Homan well on his way to taking a commanding 3-0 lead. Well, when it's got to slow down. Okay.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
that
be a
shouldn't
problem.
cause him too many problems. Roman Heibler, man on a mission. He's through to the left side of the bracket, round 7. No more Johan Chua. So at the moment, it's not looking good for the Filipinos, Ted.
Well, we've got Jeffrey Ignacio will be going up against Yang Ching-shun, the veteran.
So this is a big shot coming up for Marco. He knows he's playing one of the top 4 players in the world. And he's tied at 9-9. This one's a little thin. It's all about pace.
You can tell from his body language he's really in the zone. He is focused on the task at hand. Look out.
That might be okay. Depends how far the 8 balls run down. Quite difficult to see from here, but my instinct tells me that's good enough. So it looks like he's going to get on the hill in that match. Big moments. So he's had come round table. Where's the cue ball? He's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's good enough, you know. There's a good shot there.
Well, when Torsten gets going, he can be very intimidating. 2-time world 9-ball champion. World straight pool champion. And Teucher on the hill against Chang Junlin, breaking for the upset.
There you see again, Torsten's break, pocketing the one ball, so certain players have got this break down to a T, other players are struggling.
Oh, well, James Ronis could soon be down 4-0.
Is he trying to pocket the 9, or is that not on? Is he just making sure of the 4? 5 ball's kind of over the pocket. Yeah, he was just making sure he stopped the cue ball exactly where the 9 was, so that was a useful shot there.
We're saying that Jeffrey Ignacio, Ronis' compatriot, 4-0 up on Yang Qingshun.
Torsten sporting the Apple Watch there. Bit of make sure nobody rings you. Crikey.
Torsten's always got the latest high-tech gadget. I know a lot of people have it, but I'm sure that's the latest one. I also think Torsten perhaps logs in more miles than any player in the world. Guy is constantly traveling.
Yeah, I don't think Torsten has a house. I think he just travels the globe, doesn't he?
Yeah, one of the few players that actually makes a decent living in the pool world. It's a tough go to be a pro. Now, Marco Teucher, you can see just fired up. Can he see the 1?
Yeah, 2 ball. I think the 2 ball will go. 5 balls in a funky spot. So he can see the 1, and I think he's on the 2, so big moments. What wasn't his best positional shot though, leaving the cue ball there. Marco, a player that likes to take his time, make sure. Back to the action though, the hitman.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date on that match between Teucher and Chang Junlin, as Teucher attempts to close out the great Taiwanese for the big upset.
So the major problem in this rack would be the 6 ball. If he lands low on this 3 ball off his next shot, he can possibly break them out and open the rack up. All depends on where the cue ball lands off this shot. That's what he's trying, and I think he's in a good spot here, so he'd love to just flick the right hand side of the 9 ball. That'll just flick that over towards the left. Cue ball will come in the middle of the table and open the 6 up. Hit the wrong ball, didn't he? So now he's left a thin shot on this 4 ball.
Well, that was well done. And rightly so, he gets a round of applause from the crowd here around our TV table. And this match is slowly but surely getting away from James Aranis, as Dorston, well,
that was a loose shot,
a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for James Aranis here with that shot. Or positional play by Homan.
Is he still looking at trying to cut this ball? This is super thin. Or is he just trying to chip off the edge? Well, I cannot believe he's overcut it. That's quite incredible.
So, poor positional play on that 7 ball has led to Aranis getting back at the table. And just in time. 5-0 would have been a very big hole to climb out of. Well, that almost went wrong.
Yeah, he's a little out of sorts, isn't he, at the moment? He's not settled down well at all.
Not at all. This is his first time appearing on the TV table.
What, like ever?
On this TV table. 4-1 now in favor of Homan, but it'll be Aranis breaking. See if we can get you updated on Chang Junlin and Marco Teucher. Here we are. So Teucher at the table. Is he gonna? Oh, he's only got a few balls left.
Well, can he get through the gap? He must be able to. What has gone on here in this match? He's made it. Where's the cue ball going to finish here?
You can just tell, Carl, by the way he's walking around the table, his whole body language, he is just jacked up and zoned in. And well, he should be. This is shaping up to be a big upset here at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I'm sure the other big boys, when news comes in that Chang Junlin is out of the tournament, it's kind of big news, and he's done it. He's won 11-9.
Marco Teucher lives for yet another round here at the U.S. Open. And Chang Junlin is out. So congratulations to Marco Teucher. He'll have to get ready to play another match. He's going to have a few more. There you see James Aranis' path to this point. on this loser side match here at the U.S. Open.
Slightly overdrawn the cue ball, so now he's going to have to travel a bit with this cue ball to get on the 5. Needs to miss the 9 ball, and he has done, so it's a nice shot. Back in prime position.
Well, just as we thought the match was getting away from him, just like that, he's back in it. Carl, the pace he plays at, this could, he has the ability to close the gap very quickly.
Yeah, we've picked a good match to commentate on here, Ted, haven't we?
Well, surely now he is settled down and settled in here on the TV table. It's not easy. Come out here and know you're being watched by perhaps millions around the world. And of course, the young man really wants to showcase his stuff. He's got a bright future. He's one of the top young Filipino pool players. And there you see the route he took. He won his first match, but then lost his second, so he's won 4 straight from the loser side to stay alive. So it's wall-to-wall pool at the very highest levels all day today. And we hope you're enjoying this live and free stream on the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship Facebook page. Now that one has ended up in a funny position. That's a dry break, actually. So it'll be Homan at the table.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot he's in here. I don't think he can play across bank because one ball's touching the rail, so that makes it more difficult. The one ball's just off the rail, that shot's sometimes on. If he can avoid the double kiss, that's what he's tried, but he's double kissed, and the cue ball, well, he has been very, very fortunate here, it has to be said. So, Lady Luck on Torsten's side at the moment.
Well, unfortunately for him, he's left that on for Torsten. Wang Can up 8-3 over Siming Chen. Well, David Alcady has come back on Matusz Szynagotsky. That score is Szynagotsky 9-8 at the moment. And Kurabayashi has overtaken Ralph Souquet, but it's a tight one. Japanese leading the great German Ralph Souquet 8-7.
That was well judged there from Thorsten. Didn't have a lot of room for error.
Very delicate shot there.
What kind of angles he got, because the orange 5 ball is up top of the table, so he needs to be low on this. I think he's all right because he's coming round here. That always gives the game away a little bit. On day 3, Europeans are coming thick and fast, it has to be said, through this losers round number 6. A lot of Europeans winning their matches and leading, and with Mosconi Cup points up for grabs as well as this title. It's a huge day.
We have to be impressed, Carl, with Joshua Filler's 11-3 win over Alexander Kazakis. Filler, the current world 9-ball champion, and just a player of surreal talent who hasn't even reached the pinnacle of that talent. I think Filler has what it takes to win this event.
Yeah, without doubt. And can Filler do the double, the US Open and the World 9-ball Championships?
Okay, so Marco Teucher, he just defeated Chang Jun Lin in a big upset here on the loser side of the bracket. And let's have a few words with Marco. He's in our studio with Tom.
Great match going on there on table 1, day 3 here of the US Open 9-ball Championship. But Marco Teucher has just come through an epic match against Chang Yun Lin, 11-9 in the end. And Marco is alongside me in the studio here. There's a smile on your face. That says it all, because that was some match.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like 5-0 down and then get it back to like with a win like 9-11.
What did you think at 5-0 down?
Yeah, actually I didn't make much mistakes, so I thought like if I keep just going and try my best and maybe get at least like a few racks back and then get it a little bit closer in the match. But yeah.
Well, your winning shot, we had it live on the TV, and you really celebrated, didn't you? You know, you were kind of putting your cue in the air.
Oh,
How much did that mean to you?
Oh yeah, a lot. You know, I mean, like I practice a lot and I play for so many years. I play almost for 16, 17 years, and yeah, you play for this kind of moments, and it's nice if you get some good results. You know?
You can tell that you are really enjoying this tournament, and you're now two wins away from being into the last 16. Things are getting serious now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like I just focus on myself. I just want to enjoy it, and I just want to keep focusing and try my best, and that's everything what you can do actually.
And this match going on right now on table 1, you know the two of them. What's their game like? Do you think they're in form from what you've seen so far in the tournament?
Yeah, definitely. They're both great players. I mean, like I know James from the money matches that he play in the States, so he's playing a lot of games these days. So yeah, they're both great players, and will be definitely a good match.
Yeah, well, let's get back to that match then. We better let you go, Marco, because you are up at 3 o'clock. So good luck for that one, and well done so far. Back to Carl Boys and Ted Lerner.
Thanks, man.
Break from Thorsten Homan with the 5-2 lead. So that's what brought James Aranis to the table here with a shot on the 1. So as we head towards the final 16, which will start tomorrow, and that's the knockout stage. Unfortunately, it's no longer going to be free on Facebook, except in countries where this event is not being broadcast on regular television. But it will be seen in over 100 countries around the world, so hopefully you'll be able to catch it, because it is going to be special. A lot of pressure and drama. And if you want to know what it's like to play under that kind of pressure, just ask my colleague here, Carl, Box Office Boys. Send him a message. Ask him what it's like.
So Torsten Oman, he's back at the table. Just these 5 balls remaining to get his healthy lead back.
Carl, when you went to the finals in 2015, is it true you hadn't been playing much before that?
Not really, no. But I've never really been sort of player that went to loads of events. Sort of like we said before, Torsten always seems to be at a tournament, doesn't he?
He's at every tournament.
Yeah, I sort of dipped in and out, went missing for a few months, and was never really a big practicer because of where I live. No one really plays the game, and I always found it a bit lonely, and at times I felt I was depressed with the game, and you know, I weren't in the right country, and you know, like Neil's fine, I know he practices on his own a lot, but I just didn't enjoy it. I always enjoyed being around people, and I used to love when I went to the event practicing with people at the tournaments and stuff.
That makes it 6-2 now in favor of Torsten. Very nicely done. So how did you manage to catch fire if you really hadn't been out on the circuit like, you know, a lot of these guys? And that's what we normally think of a player who makes a run at a tournament like the U.S. Open, that you have to have been out there doing your thing week in and week out.
Well, I think you can kind of play your way into a pool tournament, mate. I think, you know, you can come here. There's obviously guys going to come here with loads of confidence because they've been doing well in previous events, or, you know, Dennis Hatch said himself he's had a year off, he's hardly been playing, and he's in the winners' qualification round. Certain players can probably get away with it a little more than others. Some people have to practice like crazy. Others kind of find the game easier than other players, so I was one of them where I could always play my way into a tournament.
And there you see 3 wins and then a loss to Koping Chung, 11-10. And that brought Torsten over to the loser side of the bracket, where he now leads 6-2 over James Aranis. Still going to have to be a few more matches for Torsten if he wants to, if he gets by this one, if he wants to reach the final 16.
So it's another dry break. So the last 2 or 3 breaks have kind of gone missing. So James is back at the table.
Yeah, you know, Dennis Hatch will be playing Shane Van Boening. He is a prohibitive underdog in that match. But again, when you come in without the pressure, like Dennis Hatch, and like you say, you play your way into the tournament, anything is possible.
Yeah, Dennis has got a high gear in this game. And when we say somebody's got high gear, they can really go on one in a match and run a lot of racks off in kind of no time at all. And I'm not so sure Thorsten will be playing this shot. No, gives it straight back. Let's have a look what James is going to do here. He's kicking off the bottom rail. Well, I feel like that's a bit of a... It's kind of half of a hit and hope. Something you'd do, Ted, on a Friday night.
Even on a Thursday night. It's always hit and hope.
But it's worked out well this time for James, because I think he's hooked the hitman. Quick update, Simeng Chen is 9-4 down against Wang Kan. Is her run about to come to an end on the left side of the draw in round 6?
And Snagatsky on the hill against Al-Kaidi. 10-8 now.
Yeah, Ralph Suke's trailing 9-7 to Toro Kurabayashi from Japan. Oh, it's a nice shot. Where's the cue ball going though? It's dry, and does the 2 past the 9. It's a good thin pot there.
Oh, that's well done. Screwing the ball back after the pot, in position for the red 3. And this is a pivotal rack here, as Thorsten eyes number 7 on his scorecard, which would put him in sight of the magic number of 11 to continue on here at the US Open.
Yeah, there's 4 Filipinos in round 6, and 2 have already been disposed of. Johan Chua and Denis Orcolo are out, and of course James Aranas is 6-2 down, but Jeffrey Ignacio leads Ching Shun Yang 6-3, so he's flying the flag in round 6. The Filipinos dropping like flies, Ted. And this is why, because of poor safety shots. Just Jeffrey De Luna in the winners qualification round. So after this round, there could just be 2 Filipinos left, Ted.
Well, Alex Pagulayan in the winner's side. He is a Filipino, but has lived in Canada for last 25 years or a little more.
Well, should we give him the Filipino tag or Canadian?
Well, he's listed under the Canadian flag.
Well, we'll say 3 then, just so it looks better for the Philippines.
Jim White's is happy about that, so Thorsten misses that 3 right there. But did he get away with it? Maybe. Nope, James Aranas can see that. This is a lovely effort right there.
Yeah, that'll work. Nice shot there from James.
Well, this could be just in the nick of time, because 7-2 going to be difficult to come back from, but 6-3, it's a big difference.
Also, just Imran Majid left, flying the flag for
Imran,
English players.
the Maharaja.
He's in the winners qualification, so he'll get 2 lives regardless. The only English player left in this year's US Open.
A shocker, that is. What happened to you guys? You guys used to dominate pool.
Wow.
Look out. That is.
What is James
That
done?
is not good.
Oh, wow.
He might.
Oh, so much going on there. How's this ball stayed up? Look at this. Wow, look at that camera angle. Looks like half the ball's over the slate.
Extension called.
Yeah, Ted, you're right. English players used to dominate many events, or used to have a lot of players playing, but we're all slowly retiring, and unfortunately there's no one coming through from England. Well, James Aranis is having an absolute shocker on centre court today, it has to be said.
Well, he should have by now had it at 6-3. So should he lose this rack, this could get quite demoralizing for the youngster. That was well done from Torsten. And Wang Can now on the hill, 10-4 over Siming Chen. So it looks like Siming's run here at the US Open will be coming to an end shortly. Torsten Homan motoring along. 7-2 now for Homan, 2-time world 9-ball champion, world straight pool champion. And there you see Wang Can, very good player from China. Spends a lot of time in the United States, traveling around, playing in tournaments, money games.
There she is, Siming Chen. Fantastic run, it has to be said.
Well, the Chinese contingent doing good so far. Wu Cha-ching, 2-time world champion, still in it on the winner's side. Lu Haitao, still in it on the winner's side. And you have Wang Can here, who looks to be going through. This would be a loser side match.
Yeah, she's not happy with that one. Back to the feature match, the Hitman. Yeah, the break's kind of gone missing a little bit in this match, to be fair. So there's definitely a skill to this break shot. You have to hit the correct point on the one. That was a little fat. You could see cue ball did not come across to the side rail, and the one ball went high of left centre. So there's definitely a skill to this break shot. Of course, we're using the AccuRack this year. That's sure to get all your balls touching, Ted.
Is that right? It's great, Carl. Just thanks for that one. When the balls are touching, everybody is happy. in the pool world.
Well, there was a man that's not happy, James Aranas. It's all going wrong.
Yeah, this is getting away from him quickly. And you just know that Torsten Homan feeding off of the travails of the young Filipino. Matusz Nagacki of Poland takes down David Alcady. Alcady out of the U.S. Open. Nagacki moves on. Ivo Arts, another solid player from the Netherlands, still alive, leading 8-6 over Cheng Chi Liu of Taiwan in a loser side match. Jeffrey Ignacio 8-3 up on Yang Qingshun.
Tyler Steyer is through to the next round, disposing of Chris Alexander. Chris from New Jersey. He's had a pretty good tournament, to be fair. Nice guy. I spoke to him a few times on this trip. You can give yourself a pat on the back. Round 6 of the US Open. No mean feat, Ted.
Siming Chen there, staving off defeat for the moment.
Well, this matchup here has all gone Homan's way. He's not had much to do. James has given plenty of opportunities and he just keeps mopping up the mistakes. Ted, there's a player we've not spoke much about from the losers. Hu Dang Jin from China. He's still going. Tremendous cue action, that guy. Tremendous.
Yeah, he's known as Dang Jinghu. Dang is his family name. But great player, member of the Chinese national team. Homan now up to 8 in total control here. James Aranas, it's, well, it's been a nightmare for him on his TV table debut. And this is a nightmare for Siming Chen as she scratches off the break.
Yeah, she was unlucky there. Cue ball gets kicked all the way up the rail. You see that a fair bit, don't you, in this game? And what a bad time for that to happen. Wang Khan, ball in hand. 7 balls, all in the open. You would think that's going to be her last shot in this year's championships.
Toru Kurebayashi and Ralph Suke trading blows on one of our outside tables. 9-8 in favor of Toru. Shevchuk 8-5 over Kenichi Uchigaki of Japan. And Ignacio has it up to 9-3 over Yang Qingshun.
So Thorsten swaps over on the break shot. But story of the match comes up dry. He's had a lot of dry breaks in this match.
And still leading.
And he's leading 8-2. That just shows you how much James has not been at the races in this match. But he's got a good chance now. All the balls are sitting pretty, so come on, James, let's find something. story of the match so far, Ted.
Wow. He got lucky.
Yeah, he got lucky, but it's still worrying times for James. Clearly not feeling good out there.
Remember, the loser of this match out of the event, the winner moves on. I believe we'll still need 2 more matches to make it to the final 16. If you'd like to follow along with the live scoring on Facebook, check out Q Score, C-U-E, Q Score.
Extension called.
Where we have our live scoring actually streaming. We had it on the Q Score website earlier, but we had some technical issues, so we've managed to get it up on the Q Score Facebook page.
No, it's not frozen. It's okay.
Well, Torsten just weighs up this kick shot, Ted. Look at the players that have gone out in round 6. Kazakis out, Appleton out, Katchi out, Orkolo out, Chang Jung-Lin out. Johan Chua has gone. Corey Jewell, Al-Qaid. Any one of them guys could have snapped this tournament off. That just shows you. Now what's going on here? Wang Kana balling out and Chen Siming still going strong in that match.
Hello there. Hey, it's a winner breaks format. She's certainly capable of putting some packages together, as we like to say. That would be something if Siming could come back. She has just gotten raves from everybody who just really admire her talent and her skill level. Superb fundamentals. Ralphie Suitcase tied it up at 9 with Kuribayashi.
Yeah, this is a match James will want to forget about, won't it? I mean, so Torsten has left some distance. This is not an easy pot when you are having a bit of a mare. Come on, James, let's find something. And he's made the 6. So that was a nice shot. And surely he's going to win this rack.
Nice crowd over there watching Chen Siming and Wang Can. She really attracts a lot of attention. So James Aranis gets one back. 8-3 now. He'll be breaking in the next rack.
There you go. 10-6. And she's got a good chance in this rack as well, Ted. So, all she can do is keep trying to win rack at a time and keep the pressure on Wang Can.
Well, perhaps Wang Can is feeling the pressure because when we were over here at this table about 10 minutes ago, it looked like he was about to run out. He had a very seemingly open table. Next thing you know, we come back and it's Siming Chen who won the rack. So is it at that point in the match where the front runner is starting to feel like it could all go to waste? It can happen, especially in a winner breaks format.
So James, can you put a few racks together just to give your opponent something to think about? Nice break off though, low to spin. Tease this one ball up nicely. So that's going to work.
Well, from our vantage point, we can also check out Chen Siming, and she is still at the table. And every moment she's at the table is just a little bit more pressure on Wang Can.
Ralph Suitcase tied 9-9. He's playing Toro Kurabayashi from Japan, so it's now a best of 3 over there. Yeah, around, it's not quite on this 2-ball break, so this is a thin one to left centre. Needs to avoid the scratch on the middle, so he's going to have to get into this cue ball well. And he's done that. Nice positional shot too, so this could be another rack, Teddy.
Well, this would be 2 in a row for James.
And Chen Siming has won another rack.
It's 10-7. Can James Aranis keep it up? He spent most of the match looking quite uncomfortable, but the last 2 racks he has settled in. And now it's 8-4 in favor of Homan. So Ralph Souquet now on the hill, 10-9. Ralphie boy coming back.
And there we go, back to the Wang Can Chen Siming match, 10-7. Maybe they're on a little timeout there. I think Wang Can is just coming back into the arena, yeah. So
Chen's going to
Chen's break
here.
Let's see what Chen can do on the break. If she wins this next rack, it's all to play for over there. What a break.
Yeah. Big break shot she's got.
Ball going. Oh, it's okay, but she's hooked on the 2. So that's a shame. So Wang Can's going to get to the table over there.
Changqi Liu of Chinese Taipei, Taiwan, has come back and now leads the Netherlands Evo Art 9-8. Jeffrey Ignacio up 9-4 on Yang Qingshun.
So James with a fantastic break again. These balls are sat looking good. So this is a small charge from the blonde Filipino.
It's a package coming.
That's what he needed. He was 8-2 down, don't forget. So this is a thin pot on the 2. You feel like this is the big shot in the rack. Needs the cue ball to slow down though. He's going to be faced with another thin cut shot on the red 3. 6 balls sat in a nice position though, so you can just focus on pocketing the ball. We're just looking over, me and Teddy. Wang Kan's at the table, but we're not sure how easy it is.
Well, he is missed as Wang Kan and Chen Siming back at the table. So that match far from over. And right here, James Aranas making a nice run. This would be a break and run and put him just 3 behind. Now, if he has found the measure of the break, this could change this match very quickly.
Yeah, this is what he needed to do. Needs to keep forced and glued to his chair.
So 8-5, 3 in a row for the young Filipino. And here we go.
Yeah, Wang Kang's in a tricky spot here. He's hooked on the pink 4.
He's going to jump.
So he's jumping over the orange 5 and the green 6.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Good news for Chen Siming. He's not on this 5 ball. So even though he made the 4, there's still a bit of life left in this shot. He'll be feeling it. She was 10-4 or 10-5 down in this match, don't forget.
Yeah, it was 10-4.
10-4.
So she's making a nice comeback.
Yeah, let's... Oh, wow. What a way to finish. He's played a combo, but he's played it at 100 mile an hour. Kind of a bit of a whack shot. That is heartbreaking. What a way to lose.
So Wang Kan is through. He will play yet again on the loser side, still alive in the U.S. Open 9-ball championship, while Siming Chen is out. Well, what an impression that young lady made here in this year's event. Just rave reviews all around. She's a total pro and supremely talented.
So back to the action. A one-rail kick gives James a thin cut at this 2-ball.
Well, this is a precarious shot. But, he seems to like to take these kind of shots on. He's quite a daring player. Oh, yeah.
Well, James Aranas has come alive in this match.
He certainly has. That's a terrific shot. Played with confidence. Well, this just goes to show that you're never out of it in a winner breaks format. He was down 8-2, and we were writing him off, and probably rightly so, because he just didn't seem like he was really in it. Almost resigned to the fact that he was going to lose, but he has found a gear, come alive. He's figured out the break, which is the important part.
Yeah, Ted, this is why, in my opinion, winner break format is the best format.
Well, it is. It's you know, I know the players like it because it gives you a chance to come back. The fans like it because it's exciting. It's exciting to watch players string racks together, and at the same time knowing that their opponent could do the same to them if they allow them back at the table. This is a well-played rack from James Aranas, and this 9-ball will put him 2 behind and still shooting.
Yeah, the problem with alternate break, if you find yourself 8-2 down in alternate break format, you may as well unscrew your cue. But in a winner break format, you can keep your opponent to the chair, and just winning 3 or 4 racks like James has done, that's going to give the hitman Thorsten something to think about next time he's at the table, because he was 8-2 up and it's now 8-6.
And we are coming to you from the Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas. Ralph Suke is through. He defeats Toru Kurabayashi of Japan 11-9. So the Hall of Famer Ralph Suke still lives to play another day. He'll be playing in a little while. Snagatsky 11-8 over Al-Kaidi, still alive. Jeffrey Ignacio with a thumping win over Yang Ching-chun of Taiwan, 11-4.
And I tell you what, he's been unlucky there. He was on the 2-ball, and he might have to push out into a full-length jump, because where do you push to? There isn't really a place where you can push to. So you might see him pushing near the pocket to leave a full-length jump shot.
And we are getting ready now for our winner side matches, so we will be finding out the makeup of our final 16, because the winners of those winner side matches will end up in our final 16. So those on the winner side have to win 1 more to reach the final 16.
Yeah, next up on the centre court TV table is the defending champion Jason Eagle Eye Shaw, and he's playing Finland's Petri Mäkinen. That will be a breaking masterclass from both players. Petri He hits them about 50 mile an hour.
Well, Petrie's game has definitely been on the rise in the last year and a half,
please.
but he's going to have his work cut out for him as Jason Shaw is zeroing in on that title and will settle for nothing less. So Thorsten gives it back, and it'll be up to Aranas to see what he can do here.
Where's the 2-ball going?
It's going in the pocket.
Wow, what a turnaround we've got here. He played a push shot into the jump and he's fluked it 3 rails. Look at this, misses all the balls. The cue ball misses all the balls, and he's absolutely in A1 position on the 3. What a turnaround this will be. He was 8-2 down, and he was making mistakes every rack. And now he's found a gear, and he's put a package together, Ted.
That's right. 4 in a row. This would be 5 in a row. Well, that is part of 9-ball. Sometimes you have to get lucky.
Obviously, Thorsten could have played the jump shot himself, decided it wasn't for him, so he gave the shot back.
So Chang-Chi Liu 10-9 now over Evo Arts, managing to come back. Still quite a number of Taiwanese left in the field. I think they are going to have the most amount of players of any country in the final 16.
What about the 2 brothers still in the winners qualification
The
round?
Ko brothers.
The Ko brothers.
Ko Pin Yi, the 2-time world champion, and his younger brother Ko Ping Chung. And look at this, a 5-pack.
What about that for a final? The 2 brothers. That's a story.
Okay.
Well, to be honest, I've seen them play in a semifinal at the World 10-Ball Championship, and it was kind of a letdown. I mean, anytime you get that kind of final, I mean, it would be an interesting story to show how the Ko brothers dominate pool, and they are some of the best players in pool, but may not make for the best final.
There you see the crowd filling up nicely here on Judgment Day. It's 3 o'clock here in Las Vegas. Who is going to make the final 16?
And how about these matches coming up on the winner side, with the winner getting a spot in the final 16? It'll be Ko Pin Yi taking on Spain's young Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. The Philippines, Jeffrey De Luna, the lone Filipino in the winner's side, battling Lu Haitao of China. Alex Pagulayan, also on the winner's side from Canada, will be taking on Ko Ping Chun.
Ted, look at this. He's got another opportunity. The balls are sat all there. Thorsten Homan. I can't remember the last shot he played in this match.
I mean, we were counting out James Aranas, and I know you're not supposed to do that in winner breaks pool, but he just didn't seem like he was very, mentally into the match, the first half of the match.
Yeah, but this is what can happen, you see. Every pool player in this room will have done this before. Once you get on that roll and you put a package together, you just don't feel like you're ever going to miss. And he played a nice positional shot there to get on the 3, but he's played a shocker. What a shocker. He's got himself right back in the match. He can land anywhere in the middle of the table, and he bumps the 9. Wow. He's going to need a good kick shot, this one, to keep this run going. Oh, he'll be furious with himself there. Them balls were begging. Could have been going 8-8.
Extension called.
Still at the table though, Ted.
Can he kick at it? He can come from the bottom and kick at it. Can he kick the other way? I don't think. Can he see that, Carl, from the other side, the top side? Because Filipinos are known to be great kickers of the ball.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? He's tried to pocket it in the corner and he's made it. James is putting on an exhibition.
Well, there you go.
Wow. What is Thorsten Holman thinking? I'm sure he's been in this position before. But I'm sure he wasn't expecting this. And look, you can see he's cueing free flowing now.
Oh, yes. Look at this shot. The kick shot. This is a Filipino special for you right here.
This will be 6 racks on the trot. We are going 8-8, folks.
Wow, what a time to put a 6-pack on. Thorsten Holman down 8-2 and then makes it 8-all, and he will be breaking for the lead. Incredible stuff here. James Aranas, 26 years old, from the Philippines, the latest, newest hot shot from the Philippine Islands.
Well, he's done what he can. He's kept himself alive in that match. As we go over to the brother of Ko Ping Yi, Ko Ping Chung's playing the Lion, Alex Pagulayan. Just starting that matchup. So winner's qualification. So the winner of that match will be advancing straight into the final 16, single elimination. That starts tomorrow, folks.
These Ko brothers are so talented. So much knowledge of the game. You know, there's even a younger brother from Ko Ping Chung.
Oh, really?
There's another one coming through the
He
ranks.
plays?
He plays.
Do we know how old he is?
He was in the, not sure, but he was in the World 9-Ball Championship this year in
Wow.
Qatar.
I'm glad I'm sat next to you, Ted. I won't like to be out there facing them 3.
Oh, yeah.
I'll rather put up with your dry humour all week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's easy to do. So James Aranas now. Boy, he's like soft breaking.
And the 1 ball is coming round. Surely James Aranas can't run the set out. Fair enough. Thorsten could have come back to the table on that jump shot. I can see why he let James shoot it. He fluked the 2 and it's kept this break going, hasn't it?
Would you consider that soft breaking? It kind of looks like it is. He just punches it a little bit.
Yeah, but there's a skill to it, because in order for that to work, you have to really juice the cue ball up with loads of spin. If you don't get enough spin on it, you can't squeeze the wing ball in. But look at the layout. Unbelievable. And he is just playing like this is a practice session now. Ted, can you remember the last shot Thorsten played? I haven't got a clue.
It was over 30 minutes ago. He has been parked in his chair. The only thing he's thankful for is that Matchroom provides very comfortable chairs to sit in.
Yeah, and he looks like he's aged about 15 years in this match. It's all going on here on Judgment Day. Day 3 of the 2019 US Open 9-Ball Championships. We promised things like this was going to happen.
Boy, if James Aranis can win this match in this fashion, straight through all the way to the end, what that would do for his confidence moving forward. Because, you know, he battled back from a severe lack of confidence. He was just not comfortable early on, and he looked like he had given up. But he started to put a few together, and he started to believe that it was possible. And now, from 8-2 down, he leads it 9-8. That is 7 straight racks in which Thorsten Homan has not had a single shot.
Cheng Che-Lu beats Evo Hart's 11-10. That match went hill-hill, so another Taiwanese player advances to the next round. Joshua Filler takes the first rack in his match over Albin Ocean. Them two met in the recent World Pool Masters, and it was Ocean who got the victory there. So the Lion Pagalayan is playing a bank shot on this 8 in the first rack. Let's see how he gets on. Well, he's not. He's played safe, so the 8 ball must have been a little bit higher than it looked. So, can James Aranis keep this run going? He was 8-2 down. He now leads 9-8. He has won 7 racks on the spin. Now the cue ball's got kicked. And of course, he's on the 1 ball. He's got action.
Boy, he's lucky that 1 ball ran into the cue ball. That's what set up this shot. He's pulling out the bridge.
Yeah, there's a lot of danger in this shot because he can't roll this in, so the cue ball is coming down towards the table. And if he plays it with right hand spin and hits just above the middle pocket, then the 8 ball's coming into play. So can he hold this? Or he's tried to hold it. It needs to keep going. I think he's on this, you know. If he is, that is a brilliant shot. You could see the 1 ball only just fell in. He didn't have a lot of room for error there. Well, our overhead camera looks like he can pot this.
Extension called.
If he's just off straight, he can draw back down towards the bottom rail. It's kind of where his hand is, I think. So cue ball's coming straight back anywhere where his hand is. There you see. Cue ball needs to slow down. This looks good. So he's on it in the middle or the top. He will play this into the top left. Ted, these balls are sat perfect. You know what has gone on in this match? We do see this kind of thing usually on an outside table. Very unusual to see it on the match table. This is history in the making.
How about Marco Teucher picking up where he left off against Chang Jun-Lin? He's up 2-0 on Dang Jin-Hu.
Ted, about 30 minutes ago, did you believe we would be in this situation now?
No. There was no sign, no inkling that James Aranis would catch a gear like this. He was having a shocker of an afternoon here at the Mandalay Bay.
Needs the cue ball to run. He's landed short on this 8, you know. This is thinner than it looks. Good news is the 9 ball's in a position where he can just focus on the pot, but he's a good foot short of where he wanted to be. So will Thorsten get back to the table in this rack? He won't. He's made it and he's judged it superbly. James Aranis is about to go on the hill. 8-2 down. He wins 8 racks on the spin.
This young man is showing some skills. 10-8 now. 8 racks in a row. We call that an 8-pack. And Thorsten Homan has been stuck in his chair for over 30 minutes and hasn't even played a shot.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if the crowd know what's going on here. I'd like to have heard a few more screams and shouts, not just clapping.
Well, when you walk into the arena, that's what happens.
Oh yeah, and the ladies faint, Ted.
Faint. And the men are shout because you owe money.
We're having fun here on day 3. What is Thorsten Homan thinking there? Wow.
And we'd like to welcome all our fans watching around the world. This is live and it's free. And we hope you're enjoying the action as much as we are enjoying it, bringing it to you. This has been a really fascinating match here because Thorsten Homan from Germany, the 3-time world champion, was up 8-2, cruising. James Uranis has made 8 racks in a row.
The 5-ball has come to the rescue. Unless James Uranis comes with an exhibition shot, Thorsten should get back to the table. Hey Ted, I can see Marcus Shamat doing the rounds, the European Mosconi Cup captain. He's in Vegas. He'll be checking up on his European players, keeping his beady eye on them.
So the push out, I think Thorsten wants to shoot it.
So this is an unfamiliar sight. Thorsten Homan at the table.
Well, he gives it up. Didn't like what he was presented with.
Yeah, the loser of this match will be out of the tournament. Tomorrow we start the last 16 live on Sky Sports in the UK, and also you can catch it live on DAZN in the US. You can just sign up with DAZN, and it's very cheap to sign up, so you get your money's worth there. So James Uranis plays a poor safety, and Thorsten was 8-2 up. He gets back to the table at 10-8 down.
You got to figure, Carl, you would have experience with this. When you're sitting there that long, what happens to the arm?
Well, I mean, it's not so much the arm that he's going to struggle with. It's probably, you've got to try and get it out your head, the fact that you was 8-2 up, loving life, thinking you're in the next round, everything's going your way, your opponent was having a shocker, and then you've just sat and watched him put a package together, and now he's on the hill and you've got to win the last 3. But if this had been the type of match where the racks had gone back and forth, Thorsten would still be thinking, well, you know, I'm still in this match. So you've got to try and think like that, because obviously if he wins this rack, he's breaking and he's only 1 behind. So it's all mental side of the game now. This is between the ears. Will Thorsten Homan get a loud cheer from the crowd?
Thorsten Homan gets one back.
Yeah, we get our first woo from the crowd at long last.
Thank you.
And Ken Toasty come with a pack of his own.
Well, this will be quite fitting just to get a break and run to go hill-hill. That's all we want. We want hill-hill action.
Ten to 9 now in favor of James Aranas. So Thorsten Homan must play perfect pool here. Cannot afford any mistakes. It's all riding on the line here. The winner continues on today in the double elimination brackets on the loser side with still a chance to get into the final 16. Of course, the loser is gone. And there you see Koping Chun in the distance. He is playing Alex Pagulayan. Nice crowd on hand here at the U.S. Open 9-ball championship in Las Vegas. So Thorsten Homan now.
Thorsten trails 10-9. He's breaking.
Oh, he just missed the one ball going down. Oh, that is,
Oh, wow.
that is tragic. Look at watch the one ball. Oh, just barely. And now the one is on, and it appears he does have an angle to bring it up table for the 2.
As he landed behind the 9.
Yes, it looks like he may have. Oh, he got lucky.
Yeah, pace helped him there.
Well, that dry break by Thorsten, that is similar to several other racks earlier in the match. He's had a bit of a struggle with the break shot. But really, the story of the match is this young man right here, 26-year-old James Aranas from the Philippines, was down 8-2 and strung together 8 straight racks without letting Thorsten Homan out of his chair.
Ted, I think it's fair to say, if he pots these 5 balls, it's been the performance of the championship so far.
Let's not forget, early on in that run from James Aranas, he had a little bit of luck. He fluked in the 2 ball in a different pocket than he was shooting at, and that allowed him to continue his run.
Extension called.
Yeah, he's just landed a little straight on this 6, so he's just looking if he leaves the cue ball in that vicinity, can he chop this 7 ball in? Now he could draw back for the 7 in the other corner, bottom right corner, but the reason why he doesn't want to do that is because tension in the back arm, very difficult to screw back and land in an area. So he's tried that. He's landed a little bit shy, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, this is a tester, though, considering circumstances.
Yeah, 8 ball will pass the 9 in the same pocket, so he's got choice of pockets here. So rule number 1, pot the 7.
Oh no,
and he's missed the 7. We have drama.
Missed it. Looked like he hit it at a good speed, Carl. It just bobbled in the jaws.
This is why we love this game.
Well, we should be heading to a hill thriller.
This is why many of the top pros over recent years have been calling out for tighter pockets, because misses in the game creates drama. 20 years ago, when they were playing on 5-inch pockets, that ball would have fell and James would have been through. But we want drama, Ted.
3 balls away from moving on in the US Open, and by maybe a half a millimeter he misses the 7 ball. Thorsten Homan will be breaking for the win. What a turn of events. You know, your entire career, your life itself could be hanging by 1 millimeter or less. A turn of the ball. It's incredible. How about if Thorsten takes this racket and goes on to win the US Open?
Well, it's a fair point, but what I will say is James Aranas has had his chance to win this match.
Now,
sometimes you don't get a chance, Ted.
Both players have called a timeout and headed to the men's room.
This, folks, is what 9-ball pool is about. High-class drama as we watch the Lion at the table trailing 2-1 to Ko Ping Chung.
Some other scores for you. Joshua Filler up 3-1 on Albin Aushin. Niels Feijen looking to add the US Open to his illustrious resume, leading 3-0 on Singapore's Aloysius Yap. Fellow Dutchman Marco Teutcher 3-1 up on Dang Jinghu. And Tyler Steyer continues to impress. He's up 2-0 on Roman Hubler. And it's been a good day for Mieszko Fortunski of Poland. He now leads Ralph Souquet 2-0.
And don't forget, folks, coming right after this match, defending champion Jason Shaw will be playing Petri Mäkinen from Finland. There's not like a timeout, is there, Ted, at 10:10?
Interesting time to take a timeout. Maybe Thorsten really had to go, but generally when you're on the comeback like that, you don't want to break the vibe and the rhythm in the arena.
So the Lion is about to square this match up.
So the players are returning to our TV table arena. The balls are already racked. So it'll be Thorsten Homan. It's 10 apiece. The winner of this rack will continue on in
Final
the
rack.
US Open 9-ball championship. And the loser is out. How about a little high five between Thorsten and James? And the crowd loves it. So here we go.
Yeah, the crowd have got right into this match. This is what they like. We all love hill drama. Ted, we might just have the best seat in the house.
We
Whereas
certainly do.
The 8 ball spoiled the party. It looked like he was going to have a shot on the 1 ball, but of course he was never going to. In Hill, wouldn't you have loved to just have an easy shot on the 1? Where do you push to? This is a very difficult push. Obviously, he can't push and leave a pot because it would be game over. So
okay,
he's got to.
Carl, what do you you're out there. What are you thinking in terms of the push?
I'm thinking, why did that 8 ball have to land there? That's what
After that, you got to get over that. Okay, what's next?
Well, that took me about 3 minutes to get over. So Is he looking at playing a jump?
Push out called.
And not a bad option would be playing the... Could he play 2 ball off 2 rails and try and lock it in behind the 9, then leave a kick shot on the 1? Then at least you've got a bit of security later on in the rack. If that's achievable, maybe not a bad option. He's pulling to a full jump here, you know, and this is dangerous. This is dangerous. I'm guessing he's pulled to a full jump.
But isn't the 8 ball also in the way?
No, I'm guessing not, because where do you kick safe? He must be able to pot this full ball. Now, yeah, he's getting his jump to, so what he's going to try and do here is he going to try and play full length jump and draw the cue ball back past the 8 and the 7?
Well, he goes with the jump cue.
Players can pull this shot off, jumping over the ball and drawing back.
Extension called.
In order to do this, you have to use the full length of the jump cue. So, as you can see, Torsten, that's a full length jump cue there. Watch the cue ball, he's trying to draw this back.
Shot.
And he's hit the 8, Ted. So you called the 8 ball was close, but I'm sure he could have potted that. I didn't really like the push out. It was a very, very dangerous push out, to be honest.
So you think he could have actually potted that 1? Because it looked from, you know, where we're standing here that the 8 was in the way.
No, I know that, but why would he push to leave an edge of the 1 ball? I know what you're saying. From up where we're stood, it looked tight, but I do believe he was trying to draw the cue ball back, and I think what's happened is he's put a bit of right hand spin on it, so the cue ball has swerved a little bit and hit the edge of the 8, but it was the push shot. I think he could have pushed over to the right hand side of the table and just leave half of the 1 ball sticking out, but it is what it is. It's hill, and it's your decision at the end of the day. Who are we to question the hitman?
That's correct, and it is now time for James Aranis to hold his nerve.
Yep.
It may look easy, and he may look calm, but I can tell you he is surely burning up inside.
This is the only shot you would think it can go wrong, because if he gets perfect on the 7, getting on the 8 will be fairly easy, so he needs to make sure he doesn't land short on this 7. So he's got to make sure he comes out. This looks pretty good. Yeah, this is pretty good. So he's going to use 2 rails here. He's just going to pop this 7 and hit halfway up on the left hand side rail. Or is he going to try and dig into it? No, yeah.
Oh.
The 7 ball rattled. It did rattle, but the angle it was coming in at.
He holds his heart.
Yeah, on the TV table where it's all brand new, them balls will slide in a club table. That might have stayed up, but he's done it. He was 8-2 down, don't forget. Thorsten had a chance in the last rack. Decided to play a push jump, but it's not to be, Ted.
James Aranis with a spectacular win over the 3-time world champion Thorsten Homan. 11-10, coming back from 8-2 down and then surviving a hill thriller at 10 apiece. At 11-10 now, he moves on. And we'll play another match shortly on the loser side. Still alive is James Aranis from the Philippines here at the 2019 U.S. Open 9-ball championship. And the great Thorsten Homan is out.
Well, that was an absolutely incredible match on table one, as James Aranas has beaten Torsten Homan 11-10, but that does not even begin to tell the story. James is in the studio now. You can see his translator is with us as well. First of all, congratulations to James for what was an absolutely incredible performance. What was going through your mind when you were 8-2 down?
Sabi mo na lang na siyempre maasa pa rin ako na magkaroon ako ng chance makabalik sa mesa.
Well, he said he never lost hope, so he just hoped that he gets a chance to shoot again, because he knew he was shooting against one of the best 9-ball player in the world, which he did get a chance, and finally he found the break that he wants, the right mixture, so he keeps making a ball or two on the break.
Well, you ended up winning 8 racks in a row, but you let him get back to the table. What were you thinking when you had to sit down again then?
Naisip ko na nung huminto yung panalo ko, pwede naman akong balikan niya. Pero wala akong magagawa ron dahil nagkamali ako eh.
Yeah, he said when he made that mistake that he gave the table back to Thorsten, all he could hope for is he gets another chance to go back on the table, because he knew that could be it. That could be it, that he might not get back on the table again.
Right, and you did get back to the table, but then you just missed that shot where it looked to everybody else like that was game over. What did you think?
Nagkamali ako ng preparasyon sa 6. Tapos nung pagdating sa 7, nabitin ako. Tapos parang namadali ko yung tira, hindi ko na take time ng husto. Ayun, sumabali ako ng maling tira.
All right, that's a good answer. Well, most people thinking the 7 was a hard shot, so he missed it because he slow rolled it. He's trying to control the cue ball, but really what he's blaming on that shot was he shot on the 6 ball to get on the 7. He could have had an easier shot on the 7, so he wouldn't have to deal about a difficult shot on the 7. He's saying, yes, he made a mistake. We try to work on that all the time for him, not to slow roll any shots. So he was thinking too much, like making the difficult 7 and controlling the cue ball at the same time. So he should have shot it a little bit harder and not worry about the cue ball and just make the 7.
And when you did, just finally, when you did pot the 7 in that last rack, you put your hand to your chest as if to say, phew. Was that relief?
Well, sobrang kaba na ako nun. Tapos akala ko sablay talaga ako. Alam ko ang mali yung naging tama eh.
He said, yeah, he was so nervous, and when he let go of that shot, he really thought he missed it already, and that was it.
Big relief. Well, you are through now, so congratulations and good luck in your next match as you look to get through to the last 16. Okay, the next match on table 1 is Jason Shaw. He is on his way. Let's get to our commentary team for this one. Michael McMullen and Jim White.
Thanks very much, Tom. What great progress Jason Shaw has made as he looks to join the elite list of players who have successfully defended the US Open title. He has looked absolutely unstoppable at times, and his performance against Corey Jewell last night is about as close to pool perfection as you are ever likely to see. He eventually won by 11 racks to 1. What chance, Jim, does Petri Makkonen have of stopping him here?
Well, at the end of the day, you just play the game. You know, you play the balls as they lie. And, I mean, always easy to say, isn't it, Michael? But no one's looked as strong as Jason. 8 racks in a row he ran against Corey yesterday. So Petri knows exactly what he's up against. But I'll tell you, he's got quite a list of weapons in his arsenal as well.
And what are those? What are his strengths?
You know, something very strong mentally. I watched him when he used to partner Mika Immonen in the World Cup, and he never really had the pedigree, but when he got in with the big boys, he amped up his game, and he is an unbelievable shot maker too, and a massive cue power.
As for Jason Shaw, you often talk about defending champions in big events being under a particular unique sort of pressure, but Jason Shaw looks the complete opposite. He looks entirely relaxed about being in here as the man they're all shooting at, and looks like he's relishing it.
Listen, it's all about self-belief, and there are no players here that have more self-belief than the man in your picture right now. He believes he's the man to beat. He believes the title goes right through him. He's the holder, and he feels like this is his year. And you know what? The big stage, no one performs better on it.
Yeah, he absolutely thrives on it, and here he is, centre stage again. And of course, This is to get through to the Diamond Arena, the 16-man final phase, which starts tomorrow. And it'll be a very different atmosphere then. Just that one table. And this is all part of it, isn't it, Jim? You know, you think of Roger Federer, you hardly ever see him play a match at Wimbledon that isn't on centre court. These are the perks that come with being one of the greats of the game and being the defending champion. And Jason Shaw is really enjoying the fact that he's getting all this exposure out there right in the middle of this arena. And being a drawing card. And the style of play that Jason employs, very aggressive, very attacking. He's got a lot of flair in his game. People like to see that. That's one of the reasons he's out there. Just look how casual he is. He's got his mobile phone with him out at the table there, just playing with it, chatting, I think, to a couple of people. You know, and there's Petri there. But just the last word on Jason is I had a word with Chris Melling as well, and Chris said Jason is without a doubt the man to beat. So, Petri, you know who the guy is that you've got to beat. You've got to keep your run going, stay in the winner's bracket, and get that spot secured right across the hallway. And Shaw is part of a small remaining British contingent. Imran Majid is the only other British player. A very international lineup we have. So the winner's qualification round, this is, but also going on simultaneously is the 7th round on the loser's side. And so the players who win in this round on the winner's side are through to the 16-man final stage, but the losers will then go through to the loser's qualification round against the winners of the matches that are going on in the loser's side at the moment. So hopefully that makes some sort of sense. Don't think we can make it sound any more simple than that. And I'm sure regular followers of 9-ball are very aware of how it all works. But we'll keep you posted on those matches. We'll keep our focus, though, on Jason Shaw against Petri Makkonen. Just looking elsewhere, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz of Spain, 4-2 up against Ko Ping-yi. He's making good progress. Alex Pagulayan, your compatriot, Jim, 4-2 up against Ko Ping-chung. And on the loser's side, big match going on there. The world champion Joshua Filler, 5-3. He leads Alban Ocean. That's a real heavyweight clash. They're all heavyweight clashes now. You get to this stage in an event like this US Open, and there's no more weak links. That's true, and I think Shaw's first match actually typified a lot of what we saw in the early stages. His opponent, Marcus Weston, looked a little bit overawed by the occasion. He looked very nervous before the match started, and he ended up being beaten by Shaw by 11 racks to nil. Shaw's come through 3 more rounds since then, but it's Petri Makkonen who's going to start us off. Well, he's been paying attention, because on this main table, that's the spot that you break from and enjoy the most success. Absolutely. We've seen players experimenting with going the other side, and they've persevered with it, even though, as you say, it hasn't generally proved to be the side to break from. So Makkonen appears to have done his homework. Has he got a shape on this too, though, Jim? Definitely can see it. I don't know whether it passes the 7 into the bottom corner pocket. Don't have that angle to be able to tell. Not a huge amount of room. The cue ball, though, would naturally be travelling towards the 3, so if he can pot it, it's a chance. Yeah, and he's obviously got the option of being able to lay behind the colours and play a good aggressive safety from this position too. Well, looks like he's queuing up as though this might pass. Kind of not too sure what exactly he was trying there. Yeah, it's hard to know, but whatever it was, hasn't worked out for him at all. He's left the 2 on, but real work to do to get on the 3 from here, Jim. Mission impossible. I mean, he might try and force follow this cushion first. No way he can draw back, queuing from so close to the cushion. In the end, did he even attempt that? Well, that was a bit of a mishit as well. Wasn't too sure what Petri was trying, and nor was it with Jason.
But either way, I don't think he's left Petri Mäkinen a chance either, unless he's got the right angle here. It doesn't look like he does. Well, there you're getting a little example of that cue power that I alluded to. But that's a great effort from what looked like a very tall order.
He spoke about his cue power. He's a big guy, but of course you don't necessarily need to be physically big to have cue power. It's all about timing. You think of some of the greatest cue power exponents in snooker: Jimmy White, Judd Trump, thin chaps.
One thing about it, Petri would acknowledge, he's far from the favorite in this match, but if he can grab these early racks, he's going to put his opponent under some heat.
Yeah, and that's particularly important against Jason Shaw, because we've seen it repeatedly in earlier rounds that he's got off to a really good start in matches and just pulled away from there. So against Shaw, as much as anyone, you've got to get off to a good start if you're the underdog.
Now, if Petri left this angle on purpose, he's just having a look. Just got to be a little careful with this 6.
Yeah.
He certainly had to have tried to get a bit closer to the 6, a little straighter.
Extension called.
Well, this is the big shot here.
Yeah, and that's usually when you see the extension being called, when it looks to have the potential to be the decisive shot in a rack.
Good shot on the 6, but it may not have availed unless the 7 passes to the top corner pocket.
That's so tight, isn't it? But there may just be a gap. He's having to have quite a few looks.
That 7 has to reach the cushion. It just got there.
And now that it has, that's a pretty good outcome.
Petri is living in Mika Iminen's shadow for so many years. And what a coming out party it would be if he ever grabbed this title.
Well, he's got a good chance of grabbing this rack now.
Oh, shot.
On his resume, the biggest jewel in his crown was when he partnered Mika to the World Cup of Pool Championship.
Yeah, and they put up a good defense of the title the following year, actually. They reached the semi-finals. It's only 2 matches away from successfully defending it. It's not a country that's had massive international success in sport generally. So it was big news in Finland when they won that.
Well, he's going to secure this rack, and that'll lose confidence the world of good. Be able to take a deep breath and settle in.
So he left Jason Shaw hooked on the 7. That was what forced the chance. Mäkinen has taken the last 3 balls. He's taken the opening rack. We said it was important for him to get off to a good start, not let Jason Shaw build up an early head of steam. Mäkinen leads 1-0.
Well, there were a couple anxious moments for Mäkinen in that first rack. A little out of position a few times, but he potted himself back into winning position.
Alex Pagulayan, your fellow Canadian, Jim, now 6-2 up against Ko Ping Chung. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz involved in a real battle with Ko Pin Yi, and the Spanish player now leads 4-3 in that one. And over on the losers' side, what a battle that is. Joshua Filler 5-4 now. He leads Alban Ushan. And Niels Fayen 6-2 up against Alucius Atyap of Turkey. Tyler Steyer. Sorry, Singapore. I think I said Turkey there. And Tyler Steyer, Mosconi Cup player, leading 5-2 against Roman Heibler.
You'll see a lot of people when we shift over to the Diamond Arena tomorrow. There'll be seating for a few hundred over there.
Yeah, by all accounts, ticket sales have been good, so what an atmosphere we're going to have. Decent turnout here, though, this afternoon. They're spread out, obviously, around a number of tables.
That was actually quite funny. Mackinnon had grabbed his playing cue and started to come to the table, and then realized he was snookered and just turned right around and grabbed his jump cue.
Just as he did in the first rack, he's potted 2 balls off the break. But got to back it up now.
Well, it's not all happy stories. Great shot on the one and worth another look. But that cue ball weaved its way around the table to leave him with yet another snooker, and this one again requiring the short cue.
He's going to do himself a shoulder injury if he keeps having to use it. Well, he's put it back and called the extension.
Yeah, a little too far to jump. And still able to keep that cue ball on the table even if it did contact the 2. So looks like Petri is going to kick at this off 2 cushions. Hope to leave it safe.
Well, pretty much everything has gone wrong there. He scratched, ball in hand, 2 right over the pocket. And easy enough to get from there to the 4.
Well, Jason, much like Mackinnon, wastes little time at the table. Exudes confidence. Get a chance, we'll try and show you that extension that he plays with and how long this cue is. His backhand is nowhere near the butt. But shots like that, far end of the table, he reaches with ease.
So Mackinnon scratched on the 2. And he's paid full price for it. Jason Shaw opens his account. The defending champion draws level at 1 rack apiece.
Day 3 of the U.S. Open. Moving day, effectively. This is when we're going to separate the men from the boys. And 16 will remain. Action on the outside tables.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has just won the 8th rack to lead Copigny 5-3.
You can see his brother Ko-Ping Chung trailing 6-2 to Pagulayan, but that's very shortly going to be 6-3. The younger brother of Copigny. Well, we saw how well Jason broke against Corey Deuel the last time he played on this table. Anything close to a repeat performance from him, and he'd probably sail through this match.
Well, it would be a lot to ask. As I was saying, that was quite close to perfection. It ended quite strangely, actually. Corey Deuel was at the table in the 12th rack and accidentally brushed the ball with his cue, and that was the end of that.
Well, he's got to miss the 8 here. If he tries to spin this cue ball around the angles, he's going to go behind the 8. Should go right around it if he spins it well enough. Not easy.
He made it look pretty easy. Mieszko Fortunski, who gave Shane Van Boening a good battle in an earlier round. Over on the loser's side, he's leading another big name, Ralph Souquet, by 5 racks to 4. Tyler Steyer has just stretched his lead to 6-2 over Roman Heibler.
Got that cue ball on a string. Play this down in the corner pocket. Have to play it with a bit of speed as well. Well, mark that one down. That's one of those very rare misses, an unforced error from Jason Shaw.
And now it's so important Mackinnon makes the most of that error. He's got to show Shaw that he's not just going to let him off the hook when he makes mistakes. And I think Mackinnon will be pleased enough with this start to be leading by 2 racks to 1. Okay, it's an early stage of the match. The finish line is a long way away. But at the moment, all he's thinking about is not letting Shaw build up any early momentum. And from that point of view, things going to plan. Shaw missed the 6. Mackinnon capitalised to the full. He leads the defending champion 2 racks to 1.
Looks pretty settled and comfortable, I think it's fair to say.
Back to your compatriot, Jim. Although he's not at the table at the moment, of course.
Yeah, this is going to be a very tough match, this one. Wouldn't surprise me if, looking at a lot of the matches on those outside tables, if we see a few hill.
Especially some of the matches going on the losers' side at the moment are really close. Joshua Filler and Albin Ocean is 5-all. Marco Teutcher only 6-5 up against Hu Dang Yin. And Fortunski now leading Ralph Souquet 6-4. On this side, though, Jeffrey DeLuna involved in a close one against Liu Hai Tao. DeLuna leading 4-3 in that one. So far, so good for Petri Mackinnon. And his progress, you know, has been straightforward enough. He beat Marcel Price, the Welshman, 11-6. That's actually been his toughest match so far. Saw off Peter Busarach for the loss of only 3 racks, and then a couple of 11-5 wins over Justin Bergman and Toru Kurabayashi.
Wow, 2 very big names there. 11-5, no mean feat, taking out Kurabayashi and Bergman by those score lines. tricky shot here on the 2. Thin cut if he elects to get aggressive, or he can take the cue ball down and should be able to find cover behind those 3 near the bottom right corner. That would be my choice.
Psychologically, Jim, he's in the ideal situation, Mackinnon, because it's a match nobody expects him to win, and he knows if he loses, he's got another shot at it anyway on the loser's side of the draw. So, yeah, no reason at all not to be in a great frame of mind in terms of how he approaches this.
Oh, shot. Ball in hand.
That's just how tough that snooker was. So, electing to freeze the 6 up to the 9 and try to buy himself an extra insurance policy in this rack. I don't believe the 6 goes to the bottom left corner. But in pocketing this 5, if he leaves himself, or this 4, if he leaves himself the angle on the 5 to get right back where he was queuing, right back where he was standing, below the 9 and the 6, he'd be able to play a very good attacking safety. Well, unless there's not a 6-9 combination on offer to the side pocket.
Extension called.
Well, that's no surprise. He knows how important this shot can be, particularly if it gets it right. So taking the extra time.
I didn't really like where he left the cue ball after knocking that 4 down the cushion. Should have left himself in a better position. He had plenty of angle there. Should have been in a much better position to play a good attacking safety from an easier position than this.
Well, that's not what he had in mind.
Not an easy shot, but he's pretty happy to get back to the table. Beautiful. Very nicely played.
Yeah, he's so good at those shots where you're coming around a few cushions for position. It's such a high strike rate. And that kind of shot against Corey Jewell last night. So Jason Shaw has gone behind twice in this match, and he's levelled straight away both times. Shaw 2, Mackinnon 2.
Cheers.
Well, we saw perhaps the match of the tournament on this table a little earlier. James Aranis getting through against Torsten Homan. And the match of this round is perhaps the one we were looking at earlier, and that we're back looking at now. Alex Pagulayan, 6-5, he leads Ko Ping Chung. Blow for blow stuff, this.
6-2, he was in front not long ago.
Absolutely, and Ko Ping Chung has put together a great counter-attack and could well level here. Alban Ocean has just won the 11th rack to go 6-5 up on Joshua Filler. Niels Fire now leads Aloysius Yap 7-4. And Fortuński, Mieszko Fortuński, one of 3 Polish players involved in that round on the loser's side. 7-4 up against the vastly experienced Ralph Suke. Su Kain Lun leads Wu Jiaxing 7-1, so may well be the first player through from this round on the winner's side.
Ball down on the break, and he's got a nice open look at the 1. You see that 6 ball finding its way to the corner pocket.
5 racks in, we haven't had a dry break yet. In fact, that's the first time that there haven't been 2 balls potted from the break.
This is useful. There's 2 passes into the corner pocket too. And I think he's got a little angle to be able to get that cue ball over to the other side of the table.
Yeah, that's fine. And now he's really opened things up for himself. Jason Shaw is the only Scottish player ever to have played in the Mosconi Cup. A little surprising that we haven't seen more top players coming from Scotland when you consider the cue sports and indoor sports generally tradition that there is in Scotland.
Well, that was the pocket that gave him a little grief not long ago, and he almost missed the 7 there. Certainly wiped his feet before leaving the playing surface, did that one.
Yeah, it's not been straightforward, this. He's had to work for it. But it's his first break and run out of the match. And also his first lead of the match. 2 in a row for Jason Shaw. It's now 3-2.
Well, we haven't seen Alex play a shot on this table yet.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz of Spain, 7-3 up against Ko Ping. Su Kain Lun leads Wu Jiaxing 8-1.
Get a chance to see Pagulayan play a shot on this table finally.
6-all in this. It was 6-all between Marco Teucher and Hu Dang Yin, but Teucher has just won the 13th rack there to claim the lead at 7-6. So Jason Shaw has just claimed the lead in this one. 3-2 in front as he starts us off in rack number 6. Two balls down again. And a shape on the 2.
Yeah, the angle a little steep to try and hold for position to the 3. Can he kill the cue ball here, or will he use that 5 on the left side to hold position?
Yeah, use the 5 as a stopper.
He's got every chance now, Michael, every chance to secure the rack.
Yeah, and this is threatening to turn into exactly what Mackinnon didn't want to see, which is Shaw building up some momentum. Once he gets it, he can just disappear out of sight. I mentioned his 11-0 win in the first round. Follow that with a 10-5 win against Tom Stavley. His closest match so far came against Hunter Lombardo. It was 11-7 in that one.
There's a mistake. Overran the intended position.
Yeah, and in the win which followed all those, Corey Jewell, 11-1, he made very few mistakes of any sort. He's made a couple in this match already. This is another one. Oh, well, when you can play recovery shots like that, what does it matter?
Looking at a bank here. Yeah, just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water. Magic. Courtesy of Jason Shaw.
Just like the last rack, it wasn't straightforward, it wasn't routine. He's faced a couple of difficulties along the way. Oh, and just when we were about to start dotting the I's and crossing the T's on that rack, he's gone and missed into that same pocket that he missed into earlier, Jim. And he rattled one in there as well that dropped, so he's having a few issues with that pocket. What a gift to Mackinnon. All that hard work Shaw had done. Particularly the shot on the 6. Well, that one wriggled as well, didn't it? But it's dropped in, and Petri Mackinnon will be delighted with this. He's keeping pace with Jason Shaw, and they're level at 3 racks each.
Anxious moments, though, for both players. Back out to the Ko Ping Chung and Pagulayan encounter, and again we've seen Alex play one shot in this match. A failed attempt at a cut one ball, and given that he was 6-2 in front, I'm gonna take a big chance and say he's never trailed in this match.
Well, we've already seen a fantastic fight back this afternoon. James Aranis coming from way behind to beat Torsten Homan. Could we be seeing another great recovery here? We'll update you on some other matches. Niels Feijen, 8-4 now. He leads Aloysius Yap. And Alban Ocean has given himself a little bit of breathing space against Joshua Filler. 7-5 now he leads. That would be a big story if Filler was to go out. Be an even bigger story if the defending champion was to be beaten here. And Mackinnon's given himself every chance. 3-all.
One more look at the break. Change sides. And equally successful. And a chance at the one, but there's a problem on the table. And Petri is queuing right over it. At 6, 7, 9 down near the bottom right corner. 6 isn't available to the pocket it's closest to. Just got to get comfortable because he's reaching a long way to try and poke this one in.
When Mackinnon teamed up with Mika Immonen to win the 2012 World Cup of Pool for Finland in Manila, they did it the hard way. Only got through 8-6 in the first round against South Korea. And then they beat the top seeds Germany, Ralph Souquet and Torsten Homan, 8-4 in their next match. And when they then saw off the experienced Philippines duo of Francisco Bustamante and Efren Reyes, that was when people were starting to say, well, okay, maybe they could win this. And then they faced the American pair, Shane Van Boening and Rodney Morris, beat them as well, taking them into a final against Poland. And they won that in a close contest. So it really was an against the odds triumph.
Well, he's left that in as good a position to attack the combination as possible. Almost looks like a dead-on hit to the 6 to plant that 7 into the corner. Yeah, just trying to get a little too cute. That was always the danger area, though.
And that's going to be costly. So Jason Shaw gets his nose back in front. He's in a contest, though. It's 4-3 to the Scotsman. Alex Pagulayan was 6-2 up. He's now 7-6 down against Ko Ping Chung.
He'll battle.
He's the only Canadian player involved at this stage. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, 2 racks away from being the first man through. He leads Ko Pin Yi 9-3. Su Kai Lun not far behind, leading 8-3 now against Wu Jiaxing. And Imran Majid, who, as I was saying, is the only British player left apart from Jason Shaw. And he's got a 5-3 lead over Chang Yulong. One of 5 players from Chinese Taipei still involved on the winner's side. And there's one on the loser's side as well.
Foul shot, ball in hand.
Well, it's not quite going according to plan for Jason Shaw in this match. Cue ball getting kicked straight into the side with ball in hand. And everything in the open. I think we'd have to expect Makinen to clear up from here.
Well, he's got to, hasn't he? I mean, if he passes up this chance, that's going to be a real setback to him. Shaw is making mistakes. You do feel towards the end of the match he might not get this many chances gifted to him. So Makinen has got to capitalise on this. Albin Ocean has given himself a bit of room to breathe against Joshua Filler. He's pulling away. He's leading 8-5. So is Niels Fyen against Aloysius Yap.
Big shot will be from the 6 to the 7. Wants to ensure to leave himself the right angle to get the cue ball back down the bottom end of the table as we look.
He is perhaps best known for those performances in the World Cup with Finland. The year after they won it, they got to the semi-finals, lost to the Netherlands, who then lost the final to the Philippines. And the year after that, in Portsmouth, Finland reached the semi-finals again. But if he was to beat Jason Shaw here, then suddenly he might be very well known for something else. But he's left that awkward, Jim.
Yeah, too much mustard on that one. Jason grabs his cue and readies it, expecting to come to the table shortly.
Extension called.
Well, he's certainly contained Shaw. Jason looking at the long escape path, if for no other reason. Chance to make that 7 into the corner pocket.
Oh, needs a bit of luck here, and he's not had it. Got a very different demeanour about him now to what he had against Corey Jewell last night. He knows he's in a real contest here. So Makinen was given the chance when Shaw scratched from the break. He wasn't quite able to run out, but he got his way back in by clearing from 7 to 9. Makinen draws level once again. It's now 4-all.
Yeah, kind of one of those matches that neither one of them is really taken by the scruff and run with it. both very capable to still do that. Jason Shaw has just asked for a timeout, so he's leaving the arena. Probably just wash his face and try and freshen up a little bit.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz on the hill, 10-3 up against Ko Pin Yi, who's hanging on here. Sanchez Ruiz has recently revealed himself as a bit of a Q Sports all-rounder because he entered the Gibraltar Open snooker, a full world ranking event, and had an extraordinary win over Martin O'Donnell, who's reached 3 big quarter-finals this season. And then he gave the former world champion, Ken Doherty, good friend of both of ours, Jim, a really good match in the next round. Was only beaten 4-2. Really raised a huge number of eyebrows with his performances there. Alban Ocean now 9-5 up against Joshua Filler. They're playing for the right, incidentally, to meet the loser of the match we're focusing on, Shaw and Mackinnon. So Ocean might be the first player through from the losers round. Tyler Steyer, though, also has a chance of doing that because he's now leading 9-3 against Roman Heibler. So Ko Pin Yi still hanging on. This is unexpected, what we're seeing from Jason Shaw, Jim.
Very much so. I'm a little surprised that Petri didn't take the opportunity to leave the arena as well. And, you know, just go and keep yourself focused, clear your mind. You know, sitting here and waiting. I don't know if a more experienced player would be doing that. I mean, I think back to my snooker days, and usually when one player left the arena, the other was very closely following him.
Oh, listen, I've known players to hide around a corner behind a curtain waiting for the other player to go back into the arena before they do. I know exactly what you're getting at. Alex Pagulayan now 8-7 in front against Ko Ping Chung.
Well, finally poised here, 4-4.
Yep, Mackinnon, I think, will be quietly delighted with the way this match has proceeded so far. But can he keep it up? Shaw's helping him along the way a bit. Well, he's got a shape on the one. And a decent enough angle to come back for the two. Oh, but you've got to pot the one.
Was that cue ball married itself to the 8 and taken the path to the 1 away?
It's certainly very close to that, at least.
No, Jason looks like he's queuing up. Must be able to see it. And that was a much better shot than it looked.
Well, absolutely. Coming in and out of the jaws like that, you're never entirely sure what the cue ball's going to do. But you couldn't ask for a much more straightforward run out than this. Everything out in the middle of the table. Mackinnon probably wouldn't have imagined that he would make as many mistakes as he has and be this close to Shaw at this stage.
Fair point, Michael. Oh, that was a kick. That was a bad contact for sure.
Absolutely massively bad contact, wasn't it? You can take nothing for granted in this match. It's throwing up all sorts of mini surprises.
Reset to 40.
So we had written off this rack much too soon. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is going to be the first man through to the one table stage. And I think the enormity of that is just causing him to take a little longer over this shot. He will play it eventually. And with that 11-4 win over Ko Pin-Yi, he books his place in the one table stage.
Yeah, very well done. Mackinnon secures the 9 to go that one rack in front, 5-4.
Yeah, looked for all the world like he was going behind again. But the bad contact on the 6 robbed Shaw. And Mackinnon took full advantage. Well, he's almost halfway to victory now. 5-4 in front. He's got to be starting to believe this is a realistic possibility. But that, of course, is the big challenge, isn't it, Jim, when you're closing in on a real landmark victory? Can you see it through?
Yeah, that's when you got to hold your nerve.
Several players on the hill. Su Kai Lun is 10-3 up against Wu Jiaxing on the winner's side. And over on the loser's side, Tyler Steyer and Mieszko Fortunski, both on the hill in their matches. Fortunski's playing Ralph Suke, so he's perhaps a rack away from going out.
Quick check of the rack. Everybody's happy, and referee Nigel Reese passes the cue ball to Mackinnon.
Well, that's the first break in the whole match that we haven't seen a ball potted, albeit that a couple of racks ago, Shaw potted the 2 off the break and scratched at the same time.
Yeah, this match has just got that feel that it's not going to be straightforward no matter what. Whether you're going to get a kick here or there, or a glaring miss, and the odd dry break will pop up.
It's been fascinating viewing, though, hasn't it, Jim? I mean, you wouldn't say either player's got fully into their stride, but it's been all the more interesting to watch for that very reason. Su Kai Lun is the second man through to the single elimination stage. 11-3 he's seen off Wu Jiaxing.
Yeah, you get a real look at how long Jason's cue is, and the backhand, how much cue is still out there.
So what's the idea behind that, Jim?
Got to be honest, I'm not sure. I know Earl Strickland's cue is also very long. And Jason's got an extension that he's got into the butt of that cue. I don't know whether he just likes to have that weight in the back end. I know he's raving about it.
The Kaiser is out of the US Open. Ralph Suke beaten 11-5 by Mieszko Fortunski.
Half chase. Yep.
Well, referee Nigel Reese called into the fray yet again to try and get the Accu-Rack out of there without disturbing the balls too much.
Just while he's doing that, I can tell you Joshua Filler is hanging on against Alban Ocean. He's just won the 15th rack to close to 9-6 down now. Tyler Steyer has seen off Roman Heibler 11-3, so he's into the losers qualification round. He'll play the loser of that Ko Ping Chung Alex Pagulayan match. So Mackinnon came up dry from the break, paid a heavy price for it. Jason Shaw draws level once again. Nip and tuck, 5-all.
Yeah, that'll put Jason in good stead, though. The Lion 9-7. This would be a big win. He hasn't had the easiest passage through to the elimination rounds. Had to beat Chin Chun Yang last night. Great player.
Just to give you an idea of the money, by the way, if you get through to the single elimination stage tomorrow, you're guaranteed at least $3,500, and it goes up quickly from there. $6,250 for the quarterfinalists. It becomes $12,000 for the semis, then $25,000 for the runner-up, and $50,000 for the eventual winner of the US Open on Friday.
Just taking a little time as Alex just wants to be certain. Chance to get to the hill.
Marco Teutschers on the hill, 10-6. He leads Hu Dang Yin.
And another good break from Jason Shaw. Cracks into that diamond cluster. And beautifully positioned on the one with the two right there.
He's only run out from the break once so far. As I said, he's trying to join an elite group of players who have successfully defended this title. Took a while for the first. 1976 the event began. It wasn't until 1990 that Nick Varner became the first player to go back-to-back. And we saw two European players do it consecutively. Mika Immonen in 2008 and 9, and then in the 2 years following that, Darren Appleton. And then off the back of that, Shane Van Boening successfully defended twice, because after winning it for the second time in 2012, 5 years after his first, he retained it in 13 and won again in 14.
Well, that was a weak effort from Jason Shaw there. Totally misjudged the angle the cue ball was supposed to take. Carrying into the 8 ball and in no position on the 5.
Oh, great recovery.
Who said he needed it?
Doesn't get phased when things go wrong, which is just as well in this match because it's gone wrong a few times.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one to have to swallow, though, not winning the rack with everything in the open. And position was actually quite easy for a mistake like that from Shaw.
So Mackinnon broke dry in the previous rack. He's been sitting down since. It's turning into by far Shaw's toughest match of the championship so far, but he does lead it, and he's more than halfway to victory now. He leads by 6 racks to 5. Alban Ocean now leading 9-7 against Joshua Filler. So that one's still got some way to run. And James Aranis, who we saw with that dramatic win earlier, he's back on the table now on the loser's side against his fellow Philippines player, Jeffrey Ignacio. And Aranis is leading 2-0.
Yeah, I talk about the distractions here in Las Vegas for all these players. And you had a chance to enjoy some of that sun, Michael?
I had a walk about 6:30, 7 o'clock yesterday morning. It was just absolutely fantastic. Just perfect temperature. Great to see it. I've not actually been out after dark yet, though. So I look forward to doing that at some point.
Yeah, the desert cools down a bit after dark. I'll warn you now.
Well, one of my plans was to go and play golf on Saturday when the event's over. But you're telling me now there are rattlesnakes on the course. So I'm having second thoughts about that.
Welcome to Vegas.
Well, you used to live here, of course, Jim, didn't you? It's my first time here. Somewhere I've always really wanted to see, so delighted to have the opportunity at this US Open.
Alex on the hill, as we saw, just eyeing up a tricky little shot. And Jason Shaw eyeing up the break. These players have gone back and forth with the racks.
Yeah, no one's been more than one in front at any stage. Lucius Yap, 9-8 up now against Niels Fyen.
Well, Jason's going to have to play this with a lot of spin. Left-hand spin as he looks. Go between the two colors in the middle of the table, the 7 and the 9. Well, he intended to go between them, I'm sure.
But that wasn't a friendly flick on the 6.
No, he just didn't go, wanted to go a little deeper with that angle on the 4. That would have dropped him onto the 5 nicely, and that, again, slightly misjudged. Very thin cut if he wants to try and slice this in.
And the cue ball will be running all over the place. So hope for Mackinnon in this rack.
Just not quite on song, Jason Shaw.
No, absolutely not. And I wonder, was it all a little too easy for him against Corey Jewell last night? He just dominated that match, and right from the start today he's been under a lot more pressure, and he's had to adjust to a very different sort of match. Oh, but some of these recovery shots he's pulling out are magnificent. And has the 6 travelled far enough? I think it just has. It's tight, though.
Worth another look. Great effort and fully deserving of position to the 6. Rolling this in, though. Important to stay still.
Victory for Marco Teucher, 11-6 over Hu Dang Yin. So he's one win away from the single elimination stage. And in the loser's qualification round, Teucher will play the loser of the match that's going on table 19 at the moment, in which Jeffrey De Luna of the Philippines leads Lu Hai Tao of China by 7 racks to 5. And that's the score by which Jason Shaw is probably going to lead in a moment. And the big question now is, how will Mackinnon respond to this? Because remember, he was 5-4 up. This is the first time in the match that he's been more than 1 rack behind. Jason Shaw makes it 3 on the bounce and leads 7-5.
Yeah, some great shot making, laying the foundation for the win in that rack. And Alex scratching the back of his neck. He's got a tricky 8 here and should drop onto the 9 nicely. And that would be the last rack he needs.
So Francisco Sanchez Ruiz and Su Kailon are already through. Alex Pagulayan is the third player to make it. He completes his journey into the single elimination stage, beating Ko Ping Chung by 11 racks to 7. You must be delighted, Jim, a Canadian player through.
Well, it's nice to see Alex win at any time. I was there when he won his world title back in Taipei. And he's just good for the game, Michael.
Oh, yeah, great character. Really well liked.
But I'm sad to see the two Ko brothers getting bumped into the losers bracket now, having forced to fight their way back. I hope they can get there, because they also very good for the game. Great young players. You're going to see, sorry, Michael, you're going to see a little cue power on display here from Jason Shaw. He's got almost a full table length on this 3, and he's going to have to draw it back for the 4.
Yeah, and as we've said, he's made some mistakes, he's missed some balls, he's had some positional errors, but there's been nothing wrong at all with Shaw's breaking in this match. And I said, how can Mackinnon respond to going more than 1 rack behind for the first time in the match? Well, the way Shaw is stepping up a gear here, Mackinnon might not have much opportunity to give any sort of response. What a match going on table 18. Alban Ocean leads Joshua Filler now 9-8. And remember, the winner of that will play the loser of this for a place in the single elimination stage. Well, we suspected this might happen, Jim, didn't we? Shaw was making mistakes early on. We knew Mackinnon had to make the most of them, and to some extent he did, but we did feel Shaw would probably step it up as the match progressed, and that's exactly what is happening here.
Flexing his muscle a bit now is Jason Shaw, a prohibitive favorite coming in. And he was pushed early, and now he's pushing back. 8-5, 3 away from a place in the elimination rounds.
Well, do him a bit of good to have had this much of a test, though, won't it? Because it has been a little too easy for him in some of the earlier rounds. He's not through yet, of course. Mackinnon, to be fair, hasn't really been able to do a great deal about it for the last 15 minutes or so. Closest match of this round, 6-all between Chang Yulong and Imran Majid. And just to say, if you're wondering what's happening with Shane Van Boening, because we've not heard anything about him this afternoon, well, his match against Dennis Hatch is the only one that hasn't started yet in the winners' qualification round, but it will be on this table after the completion of this match, which may not be too far away now, because Jason Shaw is returning to his best form, and with a run of 4 straight racks, he now leads Petri Mackinnon 8-5. He's 3 away.
Yeah, he's really starting to break well now.
He could bottle that break-off shot and sell it for $1 million. Of course, he's won about $500,000 in the last 5 years or so. His biggest check, $50,000 for winning the Kuwait 9-Ball Open a year before he won this title. And he can match that by claiming the $50,000 first prize here.
Not easy to get position to the 3, though. He's going to have to let that cue out. No, he needs a big bounce. That's not going to be enough.
Extension called.
Yeah, keeps fighting, and just seems like it was an uphill battle. A great pot on that last one.
So Mackinnon can start readying himself to finally get back on the table.
Yeah, raises his hand to apologize. Very fortunate to get that safe.
There's some real drama going on the losers' side. Joshua Filler and Alban Ocean now 9-all. Lucius Yap and Niels Fyan, that's 9-all as well. And remember, it's a whole different ball game on that side, because on the losers' side, once you lose, that's it. No further chances from there. Yap now 10-9 up on Fyan. He's just won that 19th rack.
Extension called.
Tough safety here.
Hasn't potted a ball since he led 5-4. He might now, though. Like Shaw, Mackinnon turned 30 last year. He's from Helsinki. He's been a winner of a European Tour event in Germany. Euro Tour, as it's more commonly known. He was runner-up to Eklund Kachi in the Predator Grand Finale in New York a couple of years ago. Quite enough year last year. A couple of fifth-place finishes and another fifth at the Turning Stone Classic in New Jersey in January. His best performance so far this year. He plays a lot of tournaments. So finally, he snapped Shaw's streak at 4. The man from Finland is going to battle all the way to the finish. He's back to 8-6 down.
Well, we'll see if Petri can put a few breaks together. And again, he's making a real good run at defending his title, is Shaw. He's put on the performance of the tournament thus far on this table when he beat Corey Deuel 11-1. 8 racks in a row he ran.
Yeah, there were some strange events towards the end of it. He played terrible shot. I think he just sort of miscued. And then, of course, it ended with Deuel accidentally swiping a ball with his cue. So it was a slightly anticlimactic end to what had been one of the great performances. Okay, so Mackinnon still in with a real chance of a major upset here. Really had to win that rack. And now that he has, he's back to only 2 behind, and he's got the break. He'll settle for that all day long. Work to do, though, positionally on this shot, Jim.
Yeah, it looks like he can just play straight follow. I think that 3 is available to the right-hand corner. Petri just wants to get that cue ball over to the left-hand side of the table as we look. Oh, that's a great shot. Tried to get right behind it, play it to the side pocket instead. What an effort. And no obstacles in his path to the finish line in this rack.
Yeah, and the shot he played to get on the 3 suggests he's coping well with the pressure of the situation. Yeah, not surprised to see the little hesitation. This takes a bit of working out. Oh, and he hangs his head. That's not worked out at all.
Yeah, he's got to bank this now. He'd expect to get it.
Oh, that could be a real key moment in the match. It looked for all the world like Mackinnon was getting back to 8-7. And no wonder he puts his cue down with that disgusted demeanor.
Massive let off. And a tough one to forget. I think Petri will look back on this match, should he lose it, and think back to situations like that. They're effectively 2 rack swings.
Well, you would have thought if he was going to be this close to Shaw that he'd be missing absolutely nothing, that it would have taken a near perfect performance from Mackinnon to even still have any sort of chance after 15 racks. But he's made his mistakes, so has Shaw. The difference is Shaw is now leading 9-6 and 2 racks away from that single elimination stage. A couple of players have moved to the hill on the loser's side. Joshua Filler now 10-9 in front against Alban Ocean, and Olusius Yap is also 10-9 up against Niels Fyen. So a couple of big names there, a couple of big European names. Could be moments away. from going out of the US Open.
Scanning the crowd here on the main table. Players, fans. I think everybody's getting pretty excited for what tomorrow's going to bring.
Well, it's not going to bring any involvement from Niels Feijen. He's out. He's lost 11-9 to Aloysius Yap, who now plays Ko Pin Yi in the losers qualification round. Jeffrey DeLuna, a couple of racks away on the winner's side. 9-5 he leads Liu Haitao. And a couple of real close matches going on. Chang Yu-Lung and Imran Majid are 7-all. Billy Thorpe and Su Juian are 6-all.
Got the cut shot at the 1. Two and 3 open. Just the wrong side of the 3 to drop onto the 4 nicely.
We may well look back and say that that missed bank shot on the 7 in the previous rack was the moment that finally broke Petri Mäkinen's resistance.
Yeah, in fairness, he should never have been looking at a bank shot. It was very poor positional play. But where he landed, he had to take the bank shot on. I actually thought he'd get it.
Jason Shaw is on the hill. He's 1 rack away from the single elimination stage, leading now 10-6 against Petri Mäkinen. And if Mäkinen can't produce the miracle now of 5 racks in a row, he's going to face another big name in the losers qualification round. And it could still be either Joshua Filler or Albin Ocean. 10-9 to Filler in that one. And this is one of those really close matches going on in the winners round that I was telling you about. Billy Thorpe and Su Juian.
Billy, one of 3 Americans, is still in the hunt for their national title event. And we're going to be seeing the other 2 at the conclusion of this match, Van Boning and Hatch. That'll be a match for the ages.
Albin Ocean is out of the US Open. Joshua Filler, the world champion, has come through in the end there. He's won by 11 racks to 9. So Filler will now play the loser of this match, which at the moment looks like being Petri Mäkinen. But that could have turned out better. Jason Shaw on the hill, so is Jeffrey De Luna. 10-5, he leads Lu Hai Tao.
Not a bad shot, that one from Petri. But he's left Jason a chance. And the key ball in this rack is that pink 4. It's just up beside the 6 on the right-hand side. Jason's coming to have a look at it right now to see what pocket or pockets it is available to. Next man on will be Shane Van Boning. He's just clocking events here on the main table. Texting all his pals to get him to tune in.
Well, with commentary this good, who wouldn't?
Well, Jason thinks this is available to the top corner.
Yeah, and if he does close it out here, people will look at that 11-6. They'll say, well, it was routine enough. But anyone who's watched this match will know it hasn't been that way. Mäkinen put it up to Shaw early on.
That was a foul.
Yeah. So there may still be some life in this match. Just when we were getting ready to sign it off.
A little bit of carelessness from the defending champion there. Watch it again. Just flicks that 6. It looked close. He never really gave it too much thought.
Hardly put a foot wrong in his last match against Corey Jewell, but he's made an extraordinary number of errors. In some respects, that was the worst of the lot. And Mäkinen gets the chance to battle on.
Had to have that 9. 10-7. Possible 4 remain. And Petri has to win them all.
Shaw stays on the hill. Jeffrey De Luna has moved off it. He's beaten Lu Hai Tao 11-5. And he's the 4th man through to the single elimination stage.
Billy Thorpe at the table, trailing by just one rack.
Yeah, the man from Ohio who was part of the USA team that finally won back the Mosconi Cup last year.
Well, if he could ever order a 4-pack, now's the time. Watch the cue power here.
Yeah.
Well, you called it right at the start of the match. You listed cue power as one of his big strengths, and he certainly underlined that throughout the match.
Perfect angle to take the cue ball down for the 4 next.
Shaw is still favourite to win this match, of course, but an interesting prospect is looming if he ends up losing it, because he would then face Joshua Filler in the losers qualification round, the defending champion against the world champion. What a prospect that would be. And it's still a possibility.
Well, just what the doctor ordered, a break and run out. This 9 to get to 10-8.
And this is now officially the closest match Jason Shaw has been involved in so far in his bid to retain this title. Hunter Lombardo managed to take 7 racks off him. Petri Mäkinen has now taken 8. He's only 2 behind. He's still in this. And of course, he still has the break in the next rack. Well, Shane Van Boening was looking on. He's decided to go off and do a little bit of practice, because he knows he may have to wait a little longer than he perhaps anticipated when Shaw got to the hill.
Yeah, Shane, when he won his first U.S. Open, I think that was back in 2007, I remember looking around the arena, and every single time there was a table open, that man was on it hitting balls. A couple times the officials had to ask him to move because matches were scheduled.
He's so dedicated to practice, he probably thought the matches should wait for him to be finished. And you see just on that break off there, put the 1 in the side pocket. That's been something of a trademark for him at times so far in this championship.
Yeah, strange that he's practicing the break on a different table. I mean, I could see him loosening up and hitting balls, but practicing the break there? You'd have to explain that one to me. Nothing down, and every chance now.
That's pretty close to the worst possible outcome, Jim, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's left Jason a 1. The 2 is right there. And the opportunity has truly arrived for Shaw to book his place in the elimination rounds. I think what Petri was looking at was the replay. He looked up at the large screen just behind where we're commentating from and saw the replay of the break and had to relive it.
I know Mackinnon has staged a mini revival, but it looks as though Shaw has produced his best when it's mattered most. He was right under it. He was 5-4 down.
Very, very lucky. And again, a very loose positional effort from Jason Shaw. For me, that's been his Achilles heel in this match. He's lost that cue ball on numerous occasions. He's very lucky to have a shot at the 3 here.
I think you'd have to give him 10 out of 10 for his performance against Corey Jewell. It was as close to perfection as you're ever likely to see. But on that basis, Jim, how many out of 10 would you give him for his overall performance in this match?
Well, he's made some great shots. And again, we expect so much from him. He's raised the bar in terms of standard. But out of 10 for me, I think maybe a 6. And I don't think he would give you much of a different story.
Oh yeah, he'll know he hasn't played his best, and he'll know that he's got to raise his game. Not through yet, of course. Still got to see off these last 5 balls, and against Jewell last night, you wouldn't have seen any chance really of him missing from here, but just that bit of unpredictability in this match.
Well, here he'll swing this off 2 cushions, and if he lands on the 7, as he plans to, I think Petri can safely start unscrewing his cue.
And to start planning for his clash with Joshua Filler.
Yeah, you can see Shaw already starting to celebrate too.
But even the fact that he's doing that shows that he knows he's really been in a match here.
Yeah, he's had to fight himself a little bit in this one too.
But you know, Mackinnon will go into that match against Filler with renewed confidence after the way he's run Shaw close here.
No, this will be a true feeling of accomplishment because he did battle the demons inside in this match. He wasn't at his best, but he didn't need to be.
And the bottom line is that the defending champion will get the chance to shine in the Diamond Arena. Jason Shaw was made to work hard, but he's finally shaken off Petri Mackinnon by 11 racks to 8. And Shaw is through to the single elimination stage.